On my block.
Good afternoon, this is Dr. Soul Goldstein. The views expressed by these two, fellows, colored folks, may or may not be the opinions of their employees, or mine. How at me.
Yo, one of the hottest freestyles ever was freestyled over this on Rap City.
The basement.
Yeah.
Who used to
Diplomats. It was Cameron Diplomat style, right?
Who used to host the basement? Was that Tigger?
Big Tigger.
Big Tigger. Hey, remember when your boy Lil Wayne was in the basement and froze up?
Oh, yeah.
That was a bad look for Lil Wayne. Froze up. Like, that's all he just kept doing this. He do shit. I was like, alright, I'm done fucking with you, Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't never fucked with him anyway, but I'm just saying. Whatever.
Alright, here we go.
Check it. On my block. 50 Monroe.
I bought villas, skating, resort thriller. How we store killer, I store killers. Man, I caught killers, this on Fort killers. Cat frontin', court killers. We more than a four-wheeler. F-night, so you see me, you never saw a thriller. This there, four-wheelers. Dirt I need to go. Four-wheeler, smart Pisces. Fresh from the archdiocese. You got a heart fight me, I give you the part white.
Nah, Killer Cam. Here we go. Second to none show.
Alright, what did we say this was? Episode 6 of the podcast?
Yeah, episode 6, man. We moving right along. We getting shit done down there.
Episode 10, maybe 11 of the YouTube?
I think so.
Hey.
We cooking. As Ken would say, we cooking up in here, man. We cooking.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Alright, we are joined by former alderman of the 5th Ward, Sam Camden. Say something, Sam.
Sam, what's happening, Sam? Welcome back to the show, Sam.
Oh, that's great to be here.
Yeah, my man. That's what's up.
Talk to the mic, Sam.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Now we can hear you.
Now you can hear me, all right.
Yeah.
There we go.
How about that?
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Alright, so I'm gonna give you guys 2 stories, and then I'm gonna give you 90 seconds to think about it, and we're going to figure out which way we're gonna tackle this. Alright.
Okay. 90 seconds is a long time, man.
Oh, it's the Jeopardy.
Alright.
It's the Jeopardy. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we might stop it early. If
Okay,
both of you
yeah.
guys wave at me like you know what you want to talk about first, I'll stop.
All right, yeah, it's all good. Let's get it.
So here we go. We can talk about the Ferguson Booth building first, or we can talk about Langfelder running for mayor first. Here we go.
Wait. Okay, let's get a little like I'm not familiar with the Ferguson Booth story. So let's give me a little quick rundown of what that's about.
Okay.
Then I can decide what I want to talk about.
Okay, so I'll read you both bylines. Okay, so
we probably got enough time to talk about them both. You think?
Yeah, but
maybe. We talk which one first?
Yeah. Which one
Okay,
first?
I got you.
Okay, so here we go. So the Ferguson Booth story actually has 2 stories.
Gotcha.
Okay, first byline. Some aldermen want to cancel TIF money for stalled downtown building project.
Valet. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, second byline. Ferguson Booth building project one step closer to losing its downtown.
All right. Let's. Okay, yeah. So hit the Jeopardy, and then we can. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
All right, yeah. And then the Langfelder byline is Langfelder expects competition, but nobody's running yet.
Okay.
All right. So here we go.
Okay.
You guys know what you want to get to first?
Yeah, I do. I know what I want to get to first.
I'd like to do the Ferguson.
Wait. You know what you want to get to first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So,
Sam, you're a guest, so
All right,
why don't you lead us into this opening segment of the Second to None show?
Well, I think the most urgent, important thing to talk about is the Ferguson Booth building.
Okay.
Because that is coming before the city council on Tuesday.
okay.
And this was a project that started when I was alderman. I first voted, we voted to.
I don't know if we can hear it. Sam, I don't know if we can hear you very well, man. I think that microphone.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
That's better.
The Ferguson Booth
We might be able
building.
to tighten that up, because I see it keeps sliding down. You know, we got raggedy shit up in here, so, you know what I'm saying?
Well, whatever works.
It don't, though. You see it keeps sliding down. Shit don't
A
go.
lot of people know it as the Cafe Brio building.
Okay.
Cafe Brio was in there, now Belay is in there.
Right.
And it's a great old building that Rick Lawrence, who runs Siciliano Construction, and he has created a corporation or LLC, Bright New Day Corporation, to do this project.
Right.
And so he applied for TIF funds back when Houston was mayor, and the city council, and I voted for it, extended him about $2 million of TIF funds to reconstruct. This is a huge building.
Yeah.
And then he did that building, and then there's two other buildings involved.
So, sorry to interrupt, Sam.
Sure.
So when did the initial TIF agreement? When did the initial agreement that we decided to give him? Not we, but the state with Alderman decided to give him That was the initial $2 million in TIF funds, correct?
Right. It was a little shy of $2 million.
Okay. When was this?
$1,927,680. That was July 2nd, 2014.
Okay. 2014. That was what? 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 years ago, almost $2 million okayed in TIF funds for this project.
Okay, so we're.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the
Now,
time frame.
I don't know if he's gotten the $2 million yet.
But it was
because
approved in
It was approved
2014.
because the way TIF works,
Okay.
the developer has to spend the money first.
Right, I
then
got
he
you.
gets reimbursed. So
I got you.
what the deal was, this is a very complicated, difficult project, and I got to, my hats off to Rick Lawrence for taking this whole thing on. And he was going to build mostly apartments and then some office space, and that there was going to be a bridge between the two buildings connecting the two.
Okay.
And possibly there was even going to be on the roof of the cafe, of the large Ferguson building, on the corner, a restaurant on the roof.
Okay.
So he started the project, and then he changed the scope of it, and he had problems with his bank, and so the financing, and he worked on, there's something called tax credits that investors can get to help develop older buildings.
Okay.
And you can use those tax credits to finance that. In other words, an investor will invest in the tax credit, they get the credit, and then they give the money to the developer to build the building, and they get it back in terms of tax credits.
And this is the Ferguson Booth building on 6th and Mill.
Correct.
All right.
And
What's
so
in
in
the
January-
proximity of that, if I can ask?
Pardon me?
Like, what's around the building? What would people know around Ferguson Booth?
Well, the federal courthouse is right across 5th Street.
Okay.
And then you have
Directly
the
across.
and then you have the Belay restaurant is right in that building, and then kind of kitty corner from the building is there's an office building, and then a little bit up the street is Maldeners.
Okay.
On the other side of the street is Jimmy John's.
Okay.
That's north of Monroe. when you go
So
north.
essentially located like main heart of downtown Springfield.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
So what happened was then the guy, he was having problems, and in January, the city council decided to enter into a new TIF agreement where they would give him a total of $3,800,000. $800,000 of that would be a loan in TIF funds.
So is this the TIF agreement that, that they are talking about pulling back on now?
Well, they're talking about pulling them back, both of them. Well, actually, they kind of morphed. The first one morphed into the second one.
Okay, so how many different TIF approvals have there been?
Two.
Two.
And the one in January is they said in that they imposed they were giving him a total of $3,800,800 of which was a loan, and there was a condition, 2 conditions he had to meet. He had to successfully close on federal historic tax credits and new market tax credit investment contract on it before February 28th.
Before February 20th of what year?
28th of 2018. And then also when he at some point the banker was not giving him the money that he to pay, and so he couldn't pay the labor unions. He paid the wages, but he was supposed to pay X amount of money into their benefit funds for their pensions and health insurance. He didn't make those payments.
Right.
So he was also required to, within 10 days of the effective date, to make those payments. And also any payments that were due to subcontractors.
All right, so let's get into the articles. Everybody at home, Dub and Sam are already familiar with this, what we do. I go through, read the articles, and give reactions. So, byline, because you said there have been 2 TIF approvals now.
Correct.
And I think they, okay, so the byline is some aldermen want to cancel TIF money for stalled downtown building projects.
Right, because he didn't meet these 2 conditions within the time allotted. But Rick Lawrence is saying he's got a bank that's given him a letter of intent. His original lender got out of which was First Bankers Trust. They got out of the thing, and they're not involved anymore. So
oh boy, maybe they see something shady going on. I don't know.
Well, he has a letter of intent from a new bank, and he's got to get the loan in place. And then once he has that, he can get the federal tax credits. It's like a 3-legged stool. He has to have the TIF agreement. Then with the TIF agreement, he get the bank loan, and then with the bank loan, he get the federal historic tax credits.
Okay.
So if the city council pulls out the TIF funds, the whole thing falls apart. And what Lawrence is saying is that he believes in 60 days he can get all the financing straightened out, get the loan, get the historic tax credits, be able to pay. And then with that, he would be able to pay off the money he owes to these union benefit funds and any subcontractors. The council, 60 days is nothing. And the council, the aldermen who are supporting this repeal, want to say, okay, you had enough time, we're cutting you off now, and then you're going to have a couple of 3 downtown old historic buildings that are going to be useless, probably torn down. Because if this project, and also it's going to be bad for other future developers who want to develop downtown projects when they see that the city council doesn't have the wherewithal to support a developer who's putting a lot on the line to develop 3 historic buildings, redevelop them.
So it sounds to me like, Ken, you're in favor of extending this TIF, the loan, and
I'm in favor of giving the developers some more time. If he says he needs 60 days, I would give him 60 days, 90 days. Then if he hasn't lined up the bank for the loan or the historic tax credit investors, then, maybe it's time to cut him off. But what is 60 days? It's a very short amount of time. I think it's very short-sighted by the members of the council. And
I think the amount of time might be minute compared to the amount of money that they've already given him. And what couldn't he get done with the initial almost $2 million that he needed to go refinance and ask for another $3 million?
All right, well, here.
Okay, let's get back to what we're doing.
Here we go.
Okay.
So, here we go. Some Springfield aldermen are tired of waiting for a long-stalled downtown redevelopment project to get off the ground and want to rescind the city's investment of
Hey, Jay, what's up?
Of downtown tax increment financing funds into it. So it looks like where we're setting up on this article is that you are anti-extension and you are pro-extension.
Well, I'm definitely pro.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay, yeah, you can sort of say I'm anti-extension. I just don't understand, like.
Well, just for the show.
All right, yeah. Just for argument's sake, yes, I am anti-extension.
All right. So,
Rick. Rick Lawrence.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Did you saw Marley? Did you see part owner of Marley's? I thought so. Either way.
Oh, we almost.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Let's keep it moving.
So
Keep it
the
moving.
skeletons almost came out.
Yeah.
So the project, which encompasses historic Ferguson, Bateman Kennedy, and Booth buildings at 6 and Monroe Streets, is being developed by Bright New Day Investments, as Sam noted, and is led by Rick Lawrence. Okay. So in January, Mayor Jim Langfelter broke the tie on a 5-5 vote to give Lawrence $1.1 million in TIF funds and a $800,000 low-interest TIF loan, which elevated the total amount of TIF funds in the project to $3.8 million.
Holy shit. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but don't forget that city hasn't spent that money. City will only give him the money once he spends it on work.
Yeah, so he has to spend the money, show that he spent it, and then they'll give it back to him, correct?
Right. It's
Gotcha.
like he probably, would get a bridge loan from the bank, and then the bank would get paid back.
Okay, I got you.
This doesn't cover all the construction costs. This is just a certain percentage. So.
Right, okay.
So it's almost like a cap, right? Like anything he spends above 3.8 million is on him, but the city's giving him 3.8 million to. Is this what you're saying?
$3 million.
800,000 was a loan.
Would be a grant and 800,000 a loan.
Okay, so he's getting $3 million worth. He's just getting $3 million worth of renovations. The city's giving him $3 million worth of renovations for this building, just on the face of it.
Based on the TIF agreement, correct?
Doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to pay that back. All he has to pay back is 800,000 of this 3.8 million.
That's correct.
Okay. That part of it's the loan.
So yeah. So the $3 million is already sunk cost.
Well, the $3 million, it hasn't been spent by the city yet, but under the TIF agreement, the way the TIF system works is the developer has to spend the money first, do the work, and then get reimbursed by the city.
Do we know if he spent $3 million on the building?
No, I don't. Well, he hasn't been given all $3 million. I don't even know.
But he would have to spend it before he gets it, right?
Right. So I know since January he hasn't gotten any TIF money. I don't know if he got any TIF money prior to that.
Okay. So we don't know how much he's actually spent on the project so far.
Well, it may be something that's known, but I don't know what the
Public Information Act. Public Information Act.
Yeah, I don't think it's in the article.
Right.
Here we go.
No, okay, go ahead.
One of the conditions of the TIP funding was that Lawrence would close on a deal with investors for historic and new market tax credits by February 28th. He also vowed to pay back about $1.4 million that's owed to vendors and subcontractors, including about $459,000 in union benefits for work laborers that did on the project in 2016. So laborers lowercase l, not laborers laying up.
Why is she in here?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
who that is. I can't.
Some weird person that's not supposed to be in here. Right. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming. Please don't come again. You ain't supposed to be in here anyway. You ain't got no ID. Oh, you must have just got one. All right, cool. All right, bye-bye. Mental health is real. Let's go. Keep it moving.
Every month, aldermen ask if the tax credits are finalized or if there is any program with the project. On Tuesday, they will debate an ordinance that will terminate the TIF money approved in January and free up the funds for other downtown projects. Is this your boy Ralphie? We've been generous enough for long enough. Said Ward 10, Alderman Ralph Howard. Who drafted the ordinance? Howard was one of 5 aldermen who voted against increasing Lawrence's TIP funds in January. Others were, this is definitely your boy, Ward 1 Chuck.
Charles Redpath.
Redpath.
That's my buddy, man. We go all the way back to Twin Lake. Charles. Hey, yo.
Ward 3, Alderman Doris Turner. Ward 8, Alderman Kristen Thalen. And Ward 9, Alderman Jen Donovan. There we go.
So they all voted to
rescind.
Okay, rescind. Okay, I got you.
No, they
No,
voted,
they voted to increase the TIF funds.
Okay.
no,
all
they
right.
voted no on the January.
Yeah.
increase.
So they voted against it.
Okay, all right. Voted against.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they voted against the money. Yeah, so I think the money was already promised and they voted to rescind it. I don't know.
Okay.
No, the current, what's up before the council Tuesday is to rescind everything. That hasn't been voted on in the final vote yet.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. So this is just for January. And then
All right,
it's up
I
on
got you.
Tuesday to rescind everything.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So the ordinance to pull the TIP funds was to protect taxpayers' money. He said Lawrence would be welcome to reapply now that he is enlisted in the bank. The decision of Lawrence's lender, First Bankers Trust Company, to change the requirements of underwriting the project mortgage in April forced him to get a new bank to finance the project, he said. Also, a partnership with Blackline Design and Construction, which would have fulfilled a prerequisite for investors to close on the tax credits, fell through around the same time. Got anything?
Well, that's true. Well, I think all that's true. But like what I said earlier is Mr. Lawrence claims or says that he believes he can get all his ducks in a row in about 60 days. And we've gone this far, and so 60 days is nothing in terms of time.
Yeah,
If he
maybe
needs
2 months.
that,
2 months, basically. Yeah, got it.
Till August. I
Was that like two
think
city
it's
council
prudent to
meetings?
give him the time and see if he can get his ducks in a row.
Okay, so here we go. Since then, Lawrence has said he's received a letter of intent for $375 million from a new lender, though he would not disclose the name of the bank to the state general register until he's gotten a firm commitment.
Dead giveaway.
The loan from the new lender can only be finalized in 45 to 60 days, he said. He has also talked to 2 St. Louis companies that have expertise in tax credit markets. One of them he hopes will replace Blackline. To get all of the tax credits, he is still working with the National Park Service, the Illinois Historic Preservation Agency, and the National Trust Company Investment Corporation.
So he doesn't want to say where he's getting the money from, what bank, but he's trying to keep all of these companies and
Dead
contributors.
giveaway.
Yeah, right. All right, but he, I don't know, man. To me, it just sounds kind of fishy, man. I don't know.
He did disclose to the alderman his letter of credit from the bank.
Oh, just not to the Journal Register.
No, I actually got a copy of it from him also, but I told him I would keep it confidential.
No, yeah, that's cool. No, I get that.
But I mean, so I know there is a bank that is interested in loaning the money. It's not something he just made up.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like to the person reading these articles. That's, you know what I mean? Like, it does though, because I mean, you obviously have, not insider, but you're plugged into the aldermen, the political scene around here. You know stuff that normal people that just read the paper don't know.
Yeah.
So that's what it sounds like.
So it worked to the positive, but it did burn some time, Lawrence said. I'm equally as frustrated as the alderman, probably more. Langfelder said he would rather see the project move forward, which is why he backed Lawrence getting more TIP funds in the first place. Before Lawrence decided to develop the building, the upper levels were encrusted and pigeon droppings and vacant for 10 years. He said Lawrence was still the city's best bet to see the project finished within a year or 2. At this point, I know the council's frustration. Langfelder said, it's been in contention for a long time. We would rather see it go forward than not go.
All right. Well, good luck.
So Langfelder agrees with you.
Well, the problem is the city council, and because when they took a vote at the committee of the whole the Tuesday before Memorial Day weekend, there were only 2 aldermen that voted for the against the ordinance to repeal, and that was McMiniman and Fulgenzi. And there were 7 aldermen who voted yes to put it on debate, and they were, they were for it, including Alderman Proctor, who voted for the extension in January, and he's the alderman the building is in his ward. He represents most of the downtown, and you would think that he would be the guy who would be fighting for this project, trying to convince other aldermen to vote no on the repealer ordinance. Instead, he's the guy voting yes on the repealer ordinance, and at least on the first vote. I don't know how he's going to vote, and I hope he changes his mind, changes his vote in the final vote. But
Okay, so here's what we have for Tuesday. Ferguson Booth Building Project, one step closer to losing its downtown TIF funds. That's divided. An ordinance that would rescind an offer of almost $2 million in tax increment financing dollars to help renovate three historic buildings downtown is one step closer to a vote. So next Tuesday, they are going to vote on this. Alderman voted 7-2 Tuesday. This is the previous Tuesday, to move the ordinance out of committee for debate and a possible vote during its next city council meeting on June 5th. If the ordinance passes then, Bright New Day Investments, led by developer Rick Lawrence, will no longer have access to a promised $1.1 million in TIF funds and a $800,000 low interest loan. So
I think those figures may be off because
Yeah, I think it was
it was
3
$3
million and then 800,000 for the loan. Yeah.
okay, here we go. There's a little explanation here.
Oh.
The total TIF investment in the project, including the January deal, was $3.8 million.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the total fund. All right. The city council had extended the offer to Lawrence in January with the conditions that he close on the sale of New Market and historic tax credits by February 28th, and then pay the $1.4 million owed to vendors and subcontractors within 10 days of closing. The developer also needed to maintain a private financial lender. So what it looks like is that there's a 3.8 total. There was the 800,000 low interest loan, and it looks like the remaining $3 million was divided into a $1.9 million installment and a $1.1 million installment. And it looks like they are only going to remove $1.1 million of that total $3 million. So
With the vote on Tuesday.
with the vote on Tuesday.
Okay.
So the vote on Tuesday is only getting rid, because there's a promised $1.1 million that they're voting on Tuesday for him to no longer have access to. So he'll still have access to the $1.9 million.
I'm not sure that's correct because I have the actual ordinance here that before the council.
Sam, that is credentials, man.
It says that ordinance numbers 214.07-14 and ordinances 22. The two ordinances are hereby repealed, and there are only two ordinances enacted to, provide the TIF funding.
So that would be the whole total, right?
That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Well,
Okay, well maybe, okay, well yeah, I mean, according to the paper, according to the SJR, they're only repealing a promised $1.1 million of this. So, according to the SJR, it's only 1.1 million and the 800,000 low interest.
This is the May 21st article or May 22nd article?
Yeah. This is the May 23rd article. So far, Lawrence hasn't delivered on any of the conditions. That is closing the sale of New Market and historic tax credits by February 28th, and then paying the $1.4 million owed to vendors and subcontractors.
that's going all the way back to 2014, right?
I believe the paying of vendors and subcontractors is. I'm not sure if the market and historic tax credits are.
Got
But
it.
some of this is going back to the beginning.
Right.
All right. Ward 5 Alderman, current Ward 5 Alderman Andrew Proctor, whose ward includes most of downtown Springfield, said though he supported the project getting done eventually, he has watched it drag on for years. Lawrence bought the property in 2012. The goalposts on this thing have kept changing every time we thought we were there, Proctor said, and I feel like for downtown there's only so much TIF money and to lock up so much for something that may well never happen, even though all good due diligence efforts have happened. It seems disingenuous to the TIF with all people that might be interested in other projects of such a magnitude.
I agree. I agree.
Goalposts always move on these kind of complicated redevelopment projects. That's nothing unusual. And I think the alderman is wrong on this one. He's plain wrong.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, guys.
Not a fan of Proctor anyway. But yeah, I don't know. It seems to me, just from what I've read and heard, maybe he's just not doing all the things he said he was supposed to be doing with all of these.
But you got to look at what's the alternative. If we stop this project, these buildings are going to sit vacant. Nothing's going to happen. And also other developers that are thinking of coming in Springfield, developing, or local developers who may be considering developing historic buildings downtown will say, I'm not going to do it because the city council, the city government won't support projects like this.
But I think they have been supporting him for 4 years with how many millions of dollars, and he's not doing what he's.
Keep in mind that
$3 million in grants, $800,000 in loans.
Keep in mind that amount of money has not been spent by the city. That's just a commitment.
Yeah. Okay. So they approved him the money. Why is he not?
His lender, he can't go through with the project unless he has the financing from a lender. And the original lender he had dropped out of the project. They're not loaning him the money anymore.
So if I'm understanding,
maybe Rick Lawrence is just a bad developer.
So here's what I'm understanding.
I don't know.
Here's what I'm understanding from Sam is that technically this money hasn't been given to Rick Lawrence.
Well,
So the big danger is that a developer comes in, sinks a bunch of money into the project. The city then says, hey, you haven't met our deadlines. We're not going to reimburse you this money that you've already sunk into the project. And then the developer's left holding the bag. And then once that developer's left holding the bag, no other developers are going to come because they see this other developer holding the bag, and that's just going to scare them away because they're afraid that the city's not going to follow through on reimbursing them their money. Is that the general gist of?
That's generally that I would agree with that, but some of the money may have been spent. I don't know for sure. He may have been reimbursed some of it, but I know most of it he has not been.
The restaurant's open, so he had to sink some money into the restaurant. The Vile.
Yeah,
the restaurant.
Definitely, because it looks way different than Cafe Brio.
Yeah.
And they were doing work on that for a while.
And I think the exterior of the building's been changed. I see a lot of different tile.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely done quite a bit of work.
Okay, all right. So he's just not done enough, I guess, according to the Springfield alderman.
Well, there's a lot more work to do to complete the project.
Yeah, of course.
And I think he might have secured his first round of loans, and then after that, he wasn't able to secure more. Probably because he wasn't making payments, but that's just raw speculation.
Oh, here's an editorial the State General Register had Sunday that saying in support of the project, and they say that the alderman would rescind about $2 million tax increment financing. So maybe the balance has already been spent. I don't know.
Well, that $2 million would be the 1.1 that they said, and then the $800,000 loan. Okay, so here we go. Lawrence said that his letter of intent to replace First Bankers Trust that offered him a almost $4 million loan. Lawrence said he has a letter of intent to replace First Bankers Trust that offered him an almost $4 million loan. This is what we talked about, I guess, when you said he has a bank, but it's confidential. He's also looking to consult one of two St. Louis development companies who specialize in projects that involve historic tax credits. Okay, so that's just a retread from the other article. My shortcomings at this time is a firm date for the loan closing to fund the loan, which will allow me to take care of the First Bankers issue and the accounts payable to have funding for the project and to establish a date with the NTCIC for tax credit closings. That's what Lawrence said.
Okay.
So he's got some short-term, he's got some shortcomings, firming up the gate for stuff. Unless you have a developer in mind and you are not telling us, why not see if Lawrence can get the financing? Higgins said, I'm not sure who Higgins is. Oh,
Higgins.
Michael Higgins is the older of Moderners. Okay. Alright, yeah, this is pretty much just he said, she said at this point. There's copy, please, for who should do what at the end of the articles. So what do you guys think about this Ferguson Booth building?
I think, I'm all about developing downtown. Don't get me wrong. As long as it's being done. Like, how many developers you're gonna have to burn through, or how much money do you need to get these projects started, and then you're stalling on them? The whole thing just sounds, to just the normal everyday common Springfield SJR reader, it sounds kind of fishy, the whole article. The whole, okay, Rick Lawrence has been approved for TIF money, and he's got a property that he's been developing, but it's not developed, so they want to take the money back. Just like I said, to the normal everyday reader of the paper, it's just confusing, it sounds shady.
It does sound kind of like a cat and mouse game, right? Like
back and forth.
Like you go in and you say you need X amount, and you go in and you're like, well, actually, I might need more than X amount. Right. Like, yeah, I totally get that.
But okay, and I'm fair. I would give him 60 days, and then that's it.
Well, that's all.
Days.
That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
60 days.
Just because I think I initially said I'm anti, but no, I would give him 60 days just because. It's downtown. Like, I've been earning a living down here for years, and I'm all about downtown development, and hopefully Rick is too. But I used to eat at Cafe Brio all the time.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot. Like, okay, so he's putting apartments upstairs. Who can afford to live up there? Because a lot of these apartments that they're developing downtown, like people can't. I think an apartment above craft beer is like $1,000 a month. Man,
I'm not paying $1,000 above craft beer.
I guess a lot of the places, like some of the politicians rent out, whenever they come to town for a session and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's money being allocated from some grant, or something from the federal or state money. But who can afford to live in these apartments that are being developed downtown?
I believe they get some type of stipend.
Okay, yeah.
Rick Lawrence said he's had letters of interest from older retired couples who don't want to maintain a big house out on the west side. They want to live downtown.
But they want to go up three flights of stairs?
Well, there'll be elevators. They want a luxury. They don't want a schlocky apartment. They want
So basically they want to put a retirement community.
Well, he didn't say that. He just said he had letters of interest from some senior.
I think there's some apartments.
Nothing wrong.
Well, there's some
there's already some senior living homes up by the same name.
Yeah, right?
Well, that's in near North Village. That's subsidized housing.
Well, there's a lot of condos.
Is it subsidized for seniors only, or anything?
No, there's half of it's for seniors,
disability,
and then the other half are supposed to be people with disabilities.
Yeah.
So, but I got talking about developing downtown and restaurants. I got some breaking news about a new restaurant that's going to open up in the St. Nicholas apartment building, where, you remember the old Katie Girls restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy, I think he's Chinese. The guy who used to run Cafe Brio, I think he's Chinese.
Jimmy O? Jimmy O? Yeah, I know Jimmy.
Not Jimmy O. Jimmy O had that little place on 6th Street.
Okay.
But the guy who ran Cafe Brio, anyways, he's opening a new restaurant. I think his target date is August.
Okay.
In the first floor of the St. Nicholas building.
I also heard Norbandy's is being turned into a seafood restaurant, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I think that already opened.
Okay, we're getting it done downtown Springfield.
They were having some tax problems.
Give Rick his money. Give him his 60 days and let him get his project. 60 days. If they don't do it, go ahead and cut them loose. Maybe, I think after that, if you ask for a 60-day extension and you don't take care of your business, maybe you're just a bad developer. I don't know. Whatever.
All right, you guys want to close on our dear leader, or you just want to call it a day?
Let's see what time it is. It's 1:45. What you want to do?
Check and see how much time is on that camera, Sam.
I'll get it, Sam. I'll get it. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Okay.
Barking out orders to Sam, man. Come on, he a guest.
I would do it. I just don't know.
He was closest to the stairs.
40 minutes, cuz.
All right, 40 minutes. What you want to do? 40 minutes in. What you want to do?
Wrap it up, boy.
We can talk about the other article.
All right, we'll spend 10 minutes on. We'll wrap. All right, we're going. All right, it's 12:47 live time right now. We're going to be done by 1.
Boom.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. So here we go. Langfelder expects competition, but nobody's running yet.
Competition for mayor?
Mayor.
So he's running again for mayor?
He's running again.
Oh, man, damn.
Here we go. When Springfield Mayor Jim Langfelder won the nonpartisan primary in March 2015, paving the way to winning his first term next month, he used his victory speech to single out Brad Shivey.
Brad is my dude, man.
Okay. Business manager of Laborers Local 477 and his group for their help. Thank you, laborers, Langfelder said at that time. Springfield 2019 will mark Langfelder's try for a second term. He said months ago he will be running again, but as speculation grows about possible changes, Shivey is among those taking a wait-and-see attitude.
Towards what?
Supporting Jim Langfelder.
Oh, yeah, well, it happens. I mean, just because you support somebody one time, man, that was what, how many years ago when they initially got his report in 2015?
Yeah.
That was 3 years ago. So, I mean, obviously something's happened since then, whether it's business or personal or whatever, to where Brad's not really,
in the article, if you go through it further, he explains some of the reasons why he's not automatically supporting Langfelder. And he has had a number of disagreements with him.
So how do you feel about that?
Well, I think Langfelder's probably, I would be for him for re-election. I don't agree with him on everything, but the big thing Shivey pointed out, I do agree with him. He didn't like the idea of this park in the Y block having, letting the governor's people build a park, and he thought, for $9 million, and Shivey thought there should be some construction project there, which maybe spending 30 or 40 million. The problem is, the mayor pointed out, is where do you get the money for that? Because the $9 million to build a park is not tax money; it's contributed, it's private money that's being contributed.
All right, so here we go. Several names have been mentioned in political circles as possible candidates, but there have been no announcements, and some of those named claim no plans to run. Shivey. It's like the fourth time I've heard his name.
It's all right.
Shivey said that among issues he had with Langfelder is the mayor's choice of the proposal backed by Governor Bruce Rauner to build a park in the downtown area known as the Y Block, as Sam mentioned. Property north of the governor's mansion that included the now demolished YWCA. The city council has yet to give that choice the go-ahead. Shivey said instead of a park, there could have been $30 to $40 million in construction work on the site for any city official to try and placate the current governor by allowing him to influence a project that will someday be owned by the city of Springfield is a ridiculous proposal, Shivey said. In response to Shivey's criticism of the Y Block choice, Langfelder said the magic question is where to find the resources. You have to have a private entity willing to raise funds, activate that space for $9 million, upwards of that, which would change the area dramatically, Langfelder said. He added that the lack of need for tax increment financing backing for that proposal frees up those taxpayer dollars to use in some of the many other building projects seeking help, like the Ferguson Booth building.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I guess you just pick and choose what you want to fight or what you want to back and support, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
What it sounds like.
There's some logic to the mayor's argument. I mean, if you spend the TIF money on the park, you can't spend it on rehabbing buildings downtown.
So there obviously is a limit above TIF funds for the downtown area, correct?
I mean, there's an amount. Yeah, there's a finite amount of money. I don't know offhand what the amount is. But
so does it change yearly?
Yeah, it changes based on property tax revenue. It's the increment of property tax that comes from the increased value of property since the TIF district was created about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And then, so as property values increase, then the revenue coming in increases, and then as projects are funded, the revenue, the amount in the fund goes down. So
is that just downtown tax
Yeah.
fund? Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
All right.
just-
Yep. I'm learning something new every day. All right.
Okay,
So knowledgeable.
Let's see, elected officials including Ward 9's Alderman Jim Donellan, Ward 1 Alderman Chuck Redpath, your boy Chuck Charles, Ward 10 Alderman Ralph Hanawar, and City Treasurer Misty Busher have been mentioned as possible mayoral candidates. None of them last week indicated a run for mayor was in the cards. Would you support any of those people?
No.
Okay. Would you, Sam?
No, but just because they say it's not in the cards doesn't mean they're not running.
Yeah, Chuck Redpath is running for mayor in Springfield
That's
sooner or later. He's just you can tell from his humble beginnings.
I
Chuck
actually,
is running, or Charles is running for mayor in Springfield.
You want to
One of
hear
these
from
days.
Charles?
Not really, but sure.
Okay. So Charles said, I know I've been in a couple polls recently to run for mayor, and I know that there's several polls going around, but that is not something I'm interested in. You believe him?
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
He did have some smoke for Langfelder though. He said he doesn't like to ask for our opinions on a lot of things.
Does he need to?
I mean, I don't know.
He's the top dog, right?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, come on, man. You got a lane, and if you was the mayor, you don't got to ask everybody's opinion. That's just what it is.
He is the top dog, but he does need a majority of the council to do certain things. So
Well, Chuck sounds like he's a little butthurt about something. I don't know.
yeah.
He doesn't always ask for our opinions.
So here we go. Ward 3 Alderman Doris Turner also chairs.
What's happening?
Also chairs the Sangamon County Democratic Party and said that the organization hasn't done polling either. Doris Turner says, I was an early supporter of Mayor Langfelder, and while he and I have not agreed on everything during these 3 years, working together has been beneficial to Ward 3 of the city of Springfield. I have one more term before I'm term limited, and there is much more to be accomplished. How do you guys feel about Doris Turner?
I lived on the east side and it sucked, but I don't think it's Doris Turner. I don't think it's Doris Turner's fault. But I'm a north sider, so I don't really have a lot of opinions on Doris. So I'm just gonna keep my non-opinion to myself.
Okay. Let's see. Do you want to hear from Jim Donlin?
Why not? We got time.
All right. Maybe someday if the stars align, that's something I would consider. He was talking about running for mayor. But it's a decision that you have to sit down and talk with your family. My plan is to run for re-election and hopefully continue to serve as alderman. I thoroughly enjoyed it. He's Ward 9, I believe.
All right, that a boy. I think he enjoys his job. I mean, that's a good thing. You're an alderman. I mean, maybe the next step is the mayor. Who knows?
Okay, here's what he has to say about the mayor. I would certainly welcome the opportunity to have more one-on-one conversations with the mayor, but I think anybody that knows Jim Langfelder knows that he cares about the city, and I don't think you can question that. Can you question that?
no, I would. I think Langfelder definitely cares about the city. Don't always agree with all of his policies, but he does care about the city. I agree with Donald, and you can't question that. Maybe.
That's debatable.
Okay.
But yeah, either way.
You want to debate it?
No, I don't want to debate it. I already said what I had to say about the mayor and his giving certain businesses their liquor licenses back after revoking them. That's all I gotta say.
That's fair.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, do you want to hear from Misty Busher?
Why not?
Okay. Misty Busher is in her first term as treasurer.
Oh, wait. She's not an alderman? She's a treasurer?
She's the county treasurer.
I want to hear what she got.
City treasurer.
I want to hear what
She
she
took
got.
Langfelder's place. Langfelder was city treasurer.
All right.
Became mayor.
I believe that might be it.
Yeah, talking about, you guys were talking about Charles Redpath.
Yeah.
I actually one of, I think only 2 people that ever defeated him in an election.
Nice.
What were you guys running for?
I ran in the Democratic primary for state representative in 2006.
Nice.
When, we thought Raymond Poe was not going to run again. And he said he was running for lieutenant governor, so that's the reason I thought it was going to be an open seat. That's the reason I got in the race. And but he changed his mind. He wound up running for re-election. In any event, Chuck and I ran against each other in the Democratic primary. He's like a 20-year serving alderman, and everyone said, there's no way you can beat Redpath. But I wound up winning the primary.
Oh, man.
Well, one of the main issues was
right? Get it done, Sam.
I was for an open primary. I made that a big issue where people could vote in primary without having, in a secret ballot without having to publicly declare the party. And Redpath was against the open primary. And I also put an advisory referendum on the ballot in that election asking voters if they favored the open primary. And I think about 70+% said they were for the open primary. And in any event, I beat Redpath. And then after the primary, usually the loser, the primary will back the winner in the general election.
Right.
But Redpath wouldn't do that.
Oh, butt hurt. Charles is butt hurt. Yeah. Oh, Chuck.
Poe was impossible. I couldn't beat Poe in the general election. He was too strong. And Blagojevich was at the top of the ticket. And he was even though he won re-election statewide, he was very unpopular in Sangamon County and lost Sangamon County. He's in the news again today. Trump may give him a pardon.
Oh, Hot Rod, back on the streets?
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
You got anything?
Yeah, man, that's it, man. Let's agree to give Rick his 60 day.
Hold on, before you.
Guy in the blue.
Go ahead.
Guy in the blue.
Conduct your business.
Yeah, all right.
All right, and then at the last thing, I want to see your face when you look at this post.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Just
All right, yeah. So let's go ahead and agree to give. Let's give Rick his 60-day extension, and it looks like the mayor is going to be unopposed running in his next mayoral vote.
I don't care.
How about that? What's up?